Hello again. I'm going to do a relatively quick video here that's sort of a progress update on my previous video that was about refining gold from scrap electronics and stuff like that. The solution here has been trying to react for about 20 hours now. I don't really expect much to be happening. It's pretty cold, so whenever I came out here to check it, I turned my hot plate on. That way the temperature rose and hopefully I get a little better solubility for these salts that are forming, these heavy metal salts. Since I can't really do anything with this, just, hurry up and wait with that, there is one thing that I think I want to do. See, on the bottom of this flask, I don't know if you can really see this, on the bottom of this flask there's quite a bit of really fine, like heavy particles, like gold dust and copper pins that are gold plated and things like that. And they're not really getting mixed into the solution very well because they're sitting on the bottom. So I want to try to come up with some kind of stirring mechanism, automated stirring mechanism, so that I can set this thing up, walk away and just let it do its thing, and I don't have to come over every 2 hours and stir it manually by hand. I could use one of these, which is what I'm trying to figure out how I can. This is a magnetic stir bar that normally goes on top of my magnetic stir bar / hot plate combo. That's a magnetic stir and a hot plate all in one. And this uses magnetic fields to turn this thing on top of this thing right here. And I can show you on my homemade magnetic stir, since my hot plate is currently in use. I will demonstrate how that kind of works with my homemade magnetic stirrer here. And you can see right here, I think the magnet is, yep, right there. You can see the circles on the top of the board here. It's already on. And if I crank it up, a motor attached to a magnet underneath this aluminum plating will start spinning. That is captured by the magnets that are in this magnetic stir bar here. The magnetic fields interact and grabs a hold of the magnetic fields coming from this one, grab a hold of the smaller one, cause it to spin along with its spinning motor. So that's actually a really handy thing to have. And I want to try to figure out a way to incorporate this into the gold purification process so that I can get a little more agitation, hopefully faster dissolution, more gold faster. So I have a pretty simple experiment I want to try here. I have a beaker here with a little bit of water, and I have a PVC connector that's completely open. Ideally, I think it would be better if this was a cap, like a PVC cap, but this is what I had to work with just for the prototype, proof of concept. And you can see that I drilled some holes all around it, kind of at an angle. And I also tried to make it so that each hole was not only downwards, but it was also at a slight angle like this, in relation to the PVC. What I'm hoping is, let me do it this way. If I place this PVC in here and then put a magnetic stirrer on top, and this is why I think it'd be better with a cap, PVC cap, because then nothing would get down in there to screw up the stir bar. It spins just fine, creates a vortex like you would expect, but do you notice that the vortex is only inside that PVC coupling? What I'm hoping is that the stirring action inside the PVC coupling will create currents that will transfer all this water around. I don't really need a whole lot of stirring, I don't need much agitation, but just enough to get even agitation. So I have some bright blue, where are you at? Bright blue, methylene blue solution. I use this for staining microscope slides, bacteria, fungus, things like that. And I am going to put some of this into the middle of the PVC. The middle of the PVC should turn dark blue, and the water outside the PVC, right here next to the beaker, It'll get a little staining, but it should be relatively unmixed between the middle of the PVC and the edge of the beaker. So I'm going to drop the dye in. You'll see how dark this gets. And I made sure the meniscus of the water inside the PVC was below that of the water line in the beaker. That way we don't have any mixing going on over the top. It's all going to be through those, either from the very bottom of the PVC or from the holes. And if you look at it, it's dark blue down in here, totally clear on the edges, and not a whole lot of stuff leaking through the holes right now, which I kind of expected. You can see it's sort of creeping down through the bottom there, but not much. But let's see what happens whenever I turn on stirring. Beautiful! That's exactly what I'm looking for. That's perfect. Oh yes. So, what does this mean? This means that I now have a system where I can separate the magnetic stir bar down here from all of these pieces of perf board and ram fingers and just, you know, random pins and stuff like that that would knock that magnetic stir bar out of place. So I think this was very successful, and that was really cool looking, I have to admit. But I'm going to stop and get a PVC cap, maybe one smaller than this. I don't think I need one this big, but it's the same, should be the same concept. It's gonna agitate water, and that's what you need. But I do appreciate you sticking to the end if you're still here, and I will see you next video. I'll probably be posting quite a few of these now, since I kind of also want to get into the habit of recording everything I do, just for you know, note purposes, so I don't have to write stuff down, because, you know, writing stuff down really sucks. But alright, I'll see you guys all later. Bye bye.